Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout for my video a day for the month of July. And this layout took me under an hour, so it was about 48 minutes. It was a page kit that I had put together. At the beginning of the year, it was for one of the crops that I was going to. And here I'm showing you my little tray. This is my little tray that I put everything in. Once I'm done a layout, from a page kit, I take whatever's left over and I throw it into that little container. And what I find is I'm using my embellishments a whole lot more, because if let's say if I'm working on this page kit and I find there's just a little something missing, instead of going into my stash and looking through containers and containers of embellishments, I just go to that little container and I can usually find the little bits that I need. This is a picture of my youngest son and my middle daughter, and we were on a subway. This was a few years ago. It's when we went to her competition in Niagara Falls, and her boyfriend had never been on a subway. So we decided to take the subway in Toronto to go to a mall. Instead of driving there, we did take the subway, and that was kind of fun. And so I wanted to document a picture of my daughter and my son. And this is, I think these are all Dear Lizzie papers. I believe they were from a pattern paper pack, and I just kind of ripped them out and put them in the page kit. When I first did this video originally, I kind of did a scrapbook real time, but I actually did this quite a few weeks ago, so the stuff that I was talking about in there isn't too relevant. And I guess it's relevant, but I've done a scrapbook real time since, and I've kind of talked about some of the stuff that was in there already. So I just decided to do a voiceover for this one. And I took one of the pattern papers as the background, which is the wood grain, and then the other one I cut it to 10 by 10. And then there was a cutter part sheet, and there was 4 tags on there, and I decided to use it as a mat for my photo. And it has 4 different colors, and I really like that. And also I brought in some of the embellishments that I did in a couple of my DIYs. One of them was a pinwheel, the other one was making your own flares, and I'm going to end up using it on this layout. And whenever I find I have a little bit missing, I try to go into that DIY stack and try to use it up. I'm going to add a little bit of that pattern paper on either side. Instead of top and bottom, I decide to do side to side. It's got a little bit of flowers on it. It's enough to, because my daughter's in the background, and she just absolutely loves to take pictures with him, like little selfies and stuff. And so that was a cute picture. And I can't believe, when I look at that picture, I can't believe how tall he is next to her. And this was 3 years ago. So he's even taller now. We just measured him last week before his graduation so that I could put that on his graduation page. But he's 5 feet 11 and a half inches. So he's half an inch away from being 6 feet. So he's quite a bit taller than my husband now. So it's quite funny. But so he was quite a bit, and she's what, 5'5", I believe. So he's quite a bit taller than her now. And one of the die cuts that I found in that little container just said beautiful. And then I'm going to put a little sticker underneath it at one point. And the title of this page is just going to be Beautiful Moments. As I'm playing with the embellishments, I thought that I could ask something about you guys. Scrapbooking, as we all know, it's an amazing hobby. And I'm sure that that's not the only hobby that we have. So I'd like to know, what else do you like to do as far as a hobby? For myself, I tried many things over the years. I tried cross stitching, and I still have all my stuff for cross stitching, but I find that now I'm finding it really harder to see, so I haven't been doing that much lately. And I did toll painting, and I totally am not doing that anymore. Ceramics, a whole bunch of different things. I used to, years and years ago, I used to love reading, and then I stopped reading. And I have to say that reading is now something that I started doing again. So I'm really enjoying reading. I started about a year and a half ago, and in a year and a half, I've read over 140 books. Now, just this year alone, I'm closing in on 50 books. So I'm really enjoying that. So what type of other things do you like to do, in not just scrapbooking? I wish I could say that exercising was something that is a hobby of mine. I wish it's something that I want to make part of my daily life, but it's not yet. It was a couple years ago, and I kind of let it go, and I need to bring it back into my daily life and go on the treadmill every single day. So tell me, what other hobbies do you like to do? I'm really interested. Now, back to the layout. I decided to mount the photo on some navy cardstock, and this is a cardstock that I've had in my stash for almost 20 years. Like, I got this pack of paper almost 20 years ago, and I had bought like a pack of 50, and probably at the time I bought more than one pack, because I used to have like my own business where I used to take all my stuff to a location, and people would come there and do scrapbooking and stuff. And so I still have a ton of papers left over from that. And while I was packing, I found it, and I thought, oh, I love that color. So now I'm using it for matting my photos or for matting some layouts. So it's a nice deep navy with some white polka dots. And while I was chatting too, I showed you that those 4 tags or journaling areas, one of the tag to the left of the photo is a perfect area to start an embellishment cluster. So I'm going to do an embellishment cluster there too. Now, as you can see, I covered that a whole center of the pattern paper. I could have just cut down on either side of it and just made it look like it went all the way to the end. But for some reason, that day I didn't think of it. Usually I do. I think sometimes I just go, oh my goodness, I just have so much pattern papers, let's just use them. And so I just didn't think of it. Normally I will try to cut it down. So I did, in my package that I had put together in this page kit, I did have some labels, and I'm going to cut them down and use them in the 3 embellishment clusters. I did use one of those pinwheels that I had put together, and one of the flare buttons that I had made in one of my DIYs. And then the 3rd embellishment cluster, I'm using one of the labels that was printed on that page, and I'm using it as the starter of my embellishment cluster. If you've been following me for a while, you know that one of my favorite things to do is get some page kits done, put some embellishments in there, and then choose a photo, and then go to it and get the page done. And I seem to get so much more done that way. I use the embellishments that were sort of pre-planned for that page kit. And if I find that there's a little bit missing, like I usually don't put the enamel dots in there or anything like that, or the mist or some thread or some twine. I don't put that in the page kit usually. Those things I have, like you see, in a little container, and I bring it in once I decide what coordinating color that I'd like to use with that page kit. But it's my favorite way to scrapbook. I find I get a page done way quicker, and whenever I have just a little bit of time, I've already done so much of the process. I've picked my pattern papers, I've picked my embellishments, my photos are usually tucked in there, and I used to be way better at also doing the journaling, which I haven't been that great with lately, but I want to get back into that, because when I used to put my journaling on a little recipe card, then as I was doing my page layouts, I would just copy the journaling right onto my layout, and it would be done, and my page would be done. Another thing that I notice is I'm not very good lately at putting the year on these layouts, and if I was putting the layout right away in the year that it was supposed to be in, then I would be okay. But I tend to stockpile my pages and then put them away once in a while. Now that I'm in my new scrapbook room, I talked about that yesterday, I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of pages away in this next month, and I'll take you along when I do that to show you what my process is going to be. As you saw, my little embellishment cluster, I found it was a little too high, because I wanted that wording that was on the card to be part of that embellishment cluster, so I brought it down and made it touch, so then it wasn't there wasn't any trapped white space. It was all part of the embellishment cluster. And that's going to complete this layout. I do have some pictures coming up, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. For the entire month of July, I'm going to be uploading a video a day, and a lot of them are going to be layouts. And also, if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and don't forget to let me know what other hobbies do you like to do in the comments below, and we'll chat in the comments. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout, and I just want to thank you again for watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.